Okay, I think I'm live. Hello. All right. Hello, YouTube, LinkedIn, X. My regular camera is not working, so I've got my stupid webcam on. It doesn't look great, but I don't know what else to do. So we're just gonna have to roll with it. It's gonna have a screen anyway, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But let me know in the comments if you're in here, because it's kind of, I've never scheduled a live stream. Anyone in here? A lot weird because this is new to me. I think we're okay. Hey, okay. Well, Matthew, Micah, J.E., and North Texas Ferry. Seeing you around. Said, yeah. There's a lag. Whatever. My camera's not working, and my camera is my iPhone. I use an iPhone on continuity camera because I'm cheap. I don't want to spend $800 on a fancy camera, and it's just not working. So, whatever. This is my webcam, but I'm going to share my screen for most of the time anyway. So we're going to give it a couple more minutes for people to come in. We've got 17 in here. I mean, a little, but that's kind of an ATH for me, all-time high. If you, all right, video is choppy. That's good feedback. Let me see if I can fix that. I think I can. Let me look at the settings. It's going to be a second. Let me see. Like this. Standard resolution. So I think I kind of have to have the video crappy or else really bad. Live stream. Yeah, it should be 1080p. That's the highest I can go. But what are you gonna do? So we're gonna roll with it. Okay. Hey, Lila. Brian. I'm just going to get started because I hate being late. And so I don't like it when others are late. And I don't want this to take all day. So backing up. So I sent an email to my newsletter saying, which home service idea should I validate? And I gave them these options: dumpster rental, junk removal, pressure washing, landscaping, tree trimming, roofing, house painting, fencing. 8 options. And landscaping was the least voted for. Dumpster rental was the most. And then second place was pressure washing, then fencing, then junk removal and roofing were tied, then house painting, then tree trimming, then landscaping. So my thesis for picking these, what seems to be hot right now? What do people seem to be interested in right now? Some are high ticket, some are low ticket, some have high startup costs, some don't. I just wanted a good mix. So dumpster rental won with 34 votes. So that's what we're going to do. So I've done a little prep work today. I use Outscraper for everything. Everything. And I have no affiliation with the company other than I have an affiliate link and I make like $1 every time someone uses it. So I'm pretty clever. If you go to useoutscraper.com, it will redirect you to outscraper.com and you will get a discount and I will get a couple bucks. So useoutscraper.com would be great. And you can go scrape stuff and it's super cheap and it works really fast. So I went ahead and I did the old cooking show trick where I scrape stuff in advance so we wouldn't have to wait for it. But I'll show you what I did and I'll tell you how and why I did it. I was trying to save time. So here's what I'm going to do. I randomly picked a state that I hear around my house very often, and that's Ohio, because for some reason my kids always say Skibbity Ohio, and I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, but Ohio gets a lot of crap for whatever reason. I don't think it's that bad. And so I just picked Ohio. And Ohio is also interesting because it has 3, 4, 5 cities that are like mid-size. By mid-size, I consider to be 2 to 400,000 people. So Columbus is the biggest, and then you've got Cincinnati, Cleveland, Toledo, Dayton. Okay. So we are going to be looking at 6 cities, 3 within Ohio and 3 outside of Ohio, but in neighboring-ish states and cities of comparable sizes. And so we're going to look at Cleveland, Cincinnati, and Toledo. All of those have between 2 and 400,000 people. And then we're going to look at Madison, Wisconsin, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Fort Wayne, Indiana. Okay. And I'm going to show you all this data and why I thought to pull up this data. So I'm not going to look at the YouTube questions that often because it gets pretty distracting. So I'm just going to roll with it. I'm going to talk a ton, and then I'm going to pause, look at questions, answer them as best I can, and then keep going. Okay. So we are trying to validate if starting from scratch a dumpster rental business in one of these 3 Ohio cities is viable. Okay. Maybe you live in Cleveland and you want to measure Cincinnati and Toledo. Maybe you're saying, hey, I'm going to move to any of those 3 cities because I'm going all in on this business and I want to pick the one that's best. This research will fit both of those scenarios, and they will fit any state and any home service industry. So just copy and paste. Okay. All right. I'm going to look at some questions real quick, and then I will share my screen. Okay. All right. Here we go. So I'm going to share my screen. Presentation. What is that? Okay. All right. So I'm going to get off that. All right. You should be seeing my screen right now, and there's going to be a delay. So if you can see my screen, just let me know. Once I see that, I will proceed. Also, if it's choppy or whatever and it's hard to follow, I'm going to be editing this and posting it to YouTube, and like the edited version will look great because it's all recording in fine quality. Just the live stream isn't the best. So everyone see my screen okay? All right. Thank you, Lewis. Okay, here's what we're doing. So here's the poll. This is what I was talking about. Okay, cool. Just for proof, I'm not trying to lead everyone towards dumpster rental. I have no affiliation with any dumpster rental business. I just like every time I tweet about it, people love it, and it's hot right now for whatever reason, which probably means it's going to be pretty saturated in a year or 2. So I'm going to close that window, and I am going to go to this Google Sheet that I have. So this is the Google Sheet that I started putting together. And let's go ahead and bold the cities in Ohio. And then the unbold cities are outside of Ohio, but in nearby states. So these are the cities. These are the populations. This is the percentage real estate growth. Now, I use ChatGPT for most of this. So I don't know if this is over the last decade or what, but I wanted to look at real estate growth because, in my opinion, that's going to correlate with how well home services businesses do in the area. I also want to look at the economic growth in that city. I also want to look at the average home value because that's going to dictate how much you can charge. And then right here, I think I accidentally hid a row. Let me unhide that. One sec. What is going on? All right. Average household income, home ownership rate. And this really surprised me, and I double checked it to be sure. Fort Wayne, Indiana has a 66% home ownership rate. Apparently the nationwide average is closer to 65%. So I don't know. I'm surprised by how many of these are low. And then I want a zip code for each area just for convenience because I'm going to be using those zip list in Thumbtack. And then these are the cells that I have yet to fill in that we're going to fill in together. So I'm going to go to Outscraper, And I'm going to start fresh here. So let me close these extra windows. And so I've been doing other scraping today for stuff outside of this, but if you look at these scrapes that say dumpster rental service, specifically from the and it's going to make you squirm a bit. And I will share this Google Sheet with everyone. I'll put it in like the comment or in the description on YouTube. This is going to be a little tedious, but bear with me. This is a live stream, right? Tune me out. I don't care. And I'm going to export these and I'm going to paste them into, I'm going to consolidate them. So here's the thing. I assume you can still see this. When you scrape things from Outscraper, the phone number is the gold. This is what we're here for, okay? And I like working with stuff in Google Sheets. That's just me. I don't know. Call me a millennial. But when you paste these phone numbers into Google Sheets directly, it formats them really weird from Google Sheets. So I always have to remove the +1 in the space and then the dash. And another thing that does is it standardizes them just to make the data. Yeah, see the phone number? It's dumb. So we're going to go in here and I'm going to do this all at once. So I exported the bottom one and now I'm just going to export all of them. Boom, 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 boom. So there should be 6 cities here, 6 exports for all 6 cities. So let's go to this top one. And you know what? I don't need all this data. I just want, I might as well get all of it. So let's do this. So dumb. Now, I could have put all these cities in here and scrape them at once, but I wanted you to see like this tedious process. So this is Indiana. We haven't done Indiana yet, just making sure this is right. This seems to be Cincinnati. All right, so I've got one market. Let's see how many I've done. I've done these 4 plus the one that I started with. So let's go here and let's go here. That was the first one. The second one, Toledo. Okay, I think this will be all of them. All right, so now I'm going to sort these by city name just to make sure that I have everything that I want. Okay, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, Madison, Toledo, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, Madison, Toledo. All right, we've got all 6 cities here. And then we have a bunch of scrapes that did not have a city. Like there was just not enough data on Google. And then we have a bunch of like outlying suburbs that Google Maps picked up that we can't really account for. Okay. And so we can get as granular as you want, but I don't want this to take 6 hours. So I'm going to keep this simple. The populations I pulled were only from the actual cities, not from like the greater Cincinnati area. So I'm all the data true. And so I'm going to assume, this is an assumption, that there is a similar percentage of blank entries on all of these cities. I could be wrong, right? If I were starting a business, I would get much more granular with this, but I'm not. This is for instructional purposes only. And so I'm going to delete all the ones that don't have a city, and I'm going to delete all of the ones outside of the ones that I want. And then well, I'm not going to delete the ones with a phone number, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But I am going to remove this other stuff. So I'm doing +1 space, replace all with nothing. And then I'm going to do the dash, replace all with nothing. Okay. So now the phone numbers are standard. I want to remove duplicates, but I don't want to remove these. So look at all these duplicates. Okay. But you know what? I don't actually want to remove these for this purpose because this is a multi. We want to account for that. Yes. So that's kind of a big player in Cincinnati. So I want to account for all their businesses. So a lot of times I remove duplicates based on what I'm doing for this. I'm not. So we're going to go here, and I don't know what is up with Google Sheets lately, but it has not been letting me paste as values only. I don't know what's going on. See, it lets me paste them, but then there's always merge cells, and it gets really annoying. So whatever. All right, so here's our data directly in Google Sheets. I'm going to pause real quick and hop over to YouTube. If you're streaming on LinkedIn, I'm not going to be able to look at your questions. So head over to YouTube if you want to ask something. All right, nothing right now. Okay. Back to the Google Sheet. Okay, so we could do a pivot table. We could get fancy with this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to simply count by city. So Cincinnati has 17. Okay, and I'm just going to do a quick a look over. Random ones, but junk removal. A lot of garbage collection services offer dumpster rentals. So I'm not going to delete any of these. I'm just simply going to put the counts in. So Cincinnati, we've got 17. Cleveland, we've got 11. Let's make this easy. 17, 11, Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, Fort Wayne, 7, Grand Rapids, 7, 774, 774, 11. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and get a percentage. Okay, now this isn't the best percentage, but you can clearly see. Okay, these are the cities that are most release saturated. So Cincinnati, if you go to Cincinnati, it is controlled. And I will tell you, I've never done this before. Like I've done this process, but I've never done it with. Guys, this is actually really fascinating. What is this company again? Rumpke. So Rumpke has a pretty strong foothold on this market. So Cincinnati has the most, and it's also the most saturated. Toledo, second most saturated, and then Madison, Wisconsin. Geez, 4 dumpster rental companies. Now, keep in mind, these are colder cities. You will have to deal with seasonality to some extent. There obviously aren't going to be as many people building or needing dumpsters if it's covered with snow outside. But this is fascinating to me already, right? We're only a few minutes into this, but Madison, Wisconsin has a great economy. It's a college town, University of Wisconsin. 12. Average home value, highest by far, Crime rate, lowest by far. Average household income, highest. Home ownership rate, middle of the pack. And it only has 4. So this could be misleading. Okay, so now we're going to pull up Madison, Wisconsin. I mean, we could stop this right now, and this is kind of the 80-20. We'll call it 60-40. Let's look at Madison. So I'm trying to see. Ooh. So, I mean, all of these other 5 examples are going to have their own suburbs. There's nothing over 100,000 people here. So immediately what this is telling me is it's not like a Minneapolis, St. Paul situation where you've got 2 big cities right next to each other, Dallas, Fort Worth, et cetera. In fact, the biggest suburb is only 36,000, which is a 10th of the population of Madison. Well, yeah, an 8th. So this is already really promising. This is looking good for starting a dumpster rental business in Madison, Wisconsin. But we're not done. We got to do more, right? We could unlock something here in 20, 30 minutes that makes us want to steer clear. So I'm going to show you Google LSA. So if you're unfamiliar with Google LSA, it is their answer to Thumbtack and Angie's List. They want to sell home service leads or any business lead to business owners. And they're doing a good job of it. And the leads are actually really good. We use them for our tree business. So I'm going to do this. I did a little research this morning on LSA, and dumpster rental is not a category. So I'm going to show you this. So you go to Allen, Texas Tree Service, show more. And then you go more tree service providers. You got to kind of know where to click. These are LSA listings. There's us. That's us. And then here, way down here, are organic tree service listings. And so if I go look for dumpster rental, it's not there. Roofing is there. And so I can't really do this LSA research in a very clean way. So we're going to find a workaround. So we are going to say... Madison, Wisconsin dumpster rental. We're going to look at more businesses. Now, okay, this is Google LSA. Google will only show a maximum of 2 LSA listings. But we are learning something here because there's only 1 company in all of Madison bidding on LSA. Because if there were at least 2, then it would list right here. This is organic, this is paid because this is Google guaranteed. So we're gonna go with this, okay? And we're gonna add this to our data, and we're gonna go LSA Madison, okay? Now we're going to say, so now this is sponsored. So Google's confusing because you can do Google Ads, you can do Google LSA, you can do performance ads, you can do search ads. There's like 6 different ways you can promote your home service business on Google. So this is what I'm looking at is most likely just like a Google Ads listing and not LSA because it doesn't say Google guaranteed. Let's try this in a bigger market to see how it looks. All right, so this is exactly what I was talking about. It will only show you a max of 2 sponsored listings. And so we're going to go back here. We're still going to use this. And we're just going to call that 1. Then we're going to go, we're going to call that 0 because there's none. So let's go back here. It's a little tedious. 1, and then Cleveland is 0. So now we still got to do Fort Wayne, Grand Rapids, and Cincinnati. 0. 0. 0. Okay. Okay, so LSA in all of these markets, LSA is not, it's just not very strong. And I'm not surprised because LSA is fairly new. They don't have a ton of market share yet, believe it or not, which means it's an arbitrage opportunity for you. I know people that have home service businesses that wholly rely on Google LSA. They'll get a tree lead for $50. They close half of them, and their average job is $800. So it's basically a $100 customer acquisition cost, 50% margins. You're still making about $300 per job. There are people that just bid up all the areas and only rely on Google LSA. So there is an opportunity there, but it doesn't give us a lot for these markets. And we're combining LSA and just normal Google paid ads here. So let's go to Thumbtack. So I'm going to open Thumbtack, and you want to do this right because we're doing research, but we don't want these businesses that we're researching to have to spend money because of our research. So you have to do this the right way. If I were to type in dumpster rental, Cleveland, Ohio, and then go through like the process, it would charge these businesses just for like giving me a quote, a good amount of money too. Depends on, like, if it's roofing, could be hundreds. If it's a locksmith, could be $20. But I have no intent of actually buying from these people, so I don't want them to have to pay money. And so we've got to do this a very specific way. We're going to say, let me do this. Go back to Thumbtack. Or like, actually, let's just do this. Okay, so this is basically Thumbtack's landing page for their services. Where is dumpster rental? Okay, this is what I was going to do. Okay, let's go. Let's just do all this alphabetically. So let's go to Cincinnati. I'm going to get their zip code and okay, so no one's been charged yet. I haven't like requested a quote, and I'm only seeing one result. So that's Cleveland. Let's do it here. Two. Oh, no one in that zip code. I'm going to take a look at the zip code, make sure it is populated. Yeah. Okay. But so a lot of this depends on like if these guys are bidding in that exact, they could be in the neighboring zip code. But I would think if this is downtown Fort Wayne, then people would be bidding on it, but they're not. So we're going to put a 0 here. Grand Rapids, Madison, and Toledo. Two. 0. 201. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to close Thumbtack. And okay, here's what we want to, okay, we got to do Angie's List differently. So we're already on Cleveland's page. I pulled this up, and we want to see how many are on Angie's List. Now, Angie's List, I'm pretty sure. So they will list everyone, and the people that pay Angie's List for leads, they will put them at the top. But people that they just scrape, they will put them in the back. That way, if someone for some reason goes to the second or third page, clicks on someone, then Angie's List will reach out to that person and say, "Hey, we've got a job for you." It incentivizes them to sign up for Angie's List. So we're just going to do this. We're going to go to the bottom of this. We want to go to the landing page for dumpster rental in Cleveland, and you can Google it to get here. And we just want to know how many. 65. And I went to the last page and looked, and like they do a lot of reaching, right? Like there's like on the last page, they're pretty far out. Like some are like an hour away, but we're just going to keep everything constant. So let's go back here. So let's do this. Cincinnati, Fort Wayne. Pull that up. So we're just looking at the city landing page for Angie's List. Grand Rapids, Madison, Toledo. All right, so we've got all of them pulled up. Cincinnati. Now we got to scroll down here and we got to find dumpster rental. $52. And we're done with that. Fort Wayne. It's taking too long. $13. Man, Fort Wayne. Like I'm not gonna lie, I've never looked at Fort Wayne very favorably, but whatever, here we are. No offense to anyone in Fort Wayne. I mean, it's not Gary. 28 in Grand Rapids. Wouldn't it be hilarious if there were like 87 dumpster rental companies in Madison, Wisconsin by the end of this month? I would love that so much. All right. Internet's a little slow today. Let's see. 17 in Toledo. Okay. There's our Angie's. Clean this up. And you know what? I'm just going to delete the LSA column because to me, there's not enough data there to really draw a conclusion on it. So it just looks messy right now. And honestly, Thumbtack, I don't know. I kind of just want to delete Thumbtack too, but I'll leave it. So let's do this. We're going to divide this by the number of businesses in the area because that's going to be a cleaner percentage. We're going to do the same here. So, well, yeah, man, it's going to be a triple digit percentage because there's more on Cincinnati on Google Maps, which is because they're pulling from a wide area, but whatever, we'll keep it the same. So we could also do the reverse. What percentage of Angie's List businesses are on Google Maps, but whatever. Okay. All right. So okay. So what do we see here? I'm going to go to the comments and see if there's any questions or thoughts. I'd love to hear your thoughts, like your observations. All right. I have no questions. If they're on LinkedIn or Twitter, I'm not going to see them. So YouTube, if you have any questions, let me know. We're going to go back. We're going to close that, go back to our research tab. I'm just going to start observing this in real time. So let's look at this. So Cleveland, in this sense, the higher percentage, I guess it doesn't really make a difference. Okay, so if we look at this percentage, which is basically the saturation per city, then once again, Madison. I guess I should have reversed this, right? Because we want green to be good. Okay. Madison and Fort Wayne are attractive, but honestly, Fort Wayne is not as attractive because if you look at the not bad crime rate. If you look at the real estate growth, economic growth, well, you know what? I take it back. Fort Wayne is not that bad. I've been hating on Fort Wayne. I don't like the average home value of Cleveland. I really like to see that higher, but let's do this. This is what we want to do. We want to call this the Google percentage and the Angie percentage. And for some reason, every time I paste conditional formatting, it just doesn't look right. So yes, I know how to do that, but it just doesn't work right for me. Okay. So if you look at the Angie percentage, Fort Wayne is at the top again. Toledo and Madison, top 3. Toledo is at the bottom as far as Google is concerned. Okay, so Thumbtack is there. We're not going to do that math. I'm just going to delete that. People aren't using Thumbtack, which you can see. Why is that? That's not right. I didn't do that right. I think I reversed that. Yeah, I reversed that. That's what it is. It's fun making these stupid mistakes in real time, and everyone's just screaming at their computer. I can hear you. Oh, yep, and I screwed it up again. Mohammed, edit this out because that is Angie. Anyway, you get the point. Okay, so far we're seeing that Madison and Fort Wayne look pretty dang good. Now, let's say I'm in Ohio, and for whatever sick reason, I want to open a business in Ohio. I'm going to look at these top 3. Homeownership rate, all in the 40s. Crime rate, all high. Real estate growth, okay. So Toledo is the highest household income, second lowest home value, middle of the pack that, best real estate growth. Not that much on Angie's. I don't like this. I want to do this as a percentage of population. So once again, Fort Wayne, Toledo, and Madison they're the least saturated. All green there. Toledo's a little more saturated. Should we give these guys a call? Okay, Garrett asks, is the real estate growth, economic growth, crime, et cetera, all scrape from Outscraper? No, actually, I asked ChatGPT all of these. And then I kind of cherry picked a couple to confirm, and it was accurate because sometimes it's not. So let's give these guys a call because I want to know, are these guys swamped with business? Are they not? I want to know what my competitors look like. Am I going to voicemail or an answering service? Let's do this. So I'm going to get my actual phone and I'm going to call them. And I guess it's a good thing I'm not using my phone as a camera because I need to use it here. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen. And I'm going to start calling some people. And you can hate this all you want, but I'm not going to talk to them. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to waste their time today for about 3 seconds. I want to know if they answer, because that is the litmus test that I'm performing right now. Do they answer their phone? And I'm going to keep the variables constant because I'm calling them all at the same time. But we're not accounting for maybe he's on the phone right then. Maybe some one-off variables are happening. So you can get a lot more granular with this. You could call everyone once in the morning, afternoon, and evening, on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You could get as granular as you want, but I just want to see right off the bat how many people are picking up. So we're only going to look at these ones. We're not going to look at the ones in the outlying areas. So I'm going to, let's see. I'm just going to go down the line. I'm not going to call all these, but let's just see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Okay. So if you see my phone, I just pasted it from my MacBook to my phone, and I'm going to call him on speaker and see if he answers. This reminds me of a scene in The Office. I can't remember which one.
Hello, and thank you for calling for a dumpster, porta potty, or rental. If you're a homeowner, press 1. If you're a business or contractor, press 2.
All right, so that's an answering service. So I'm going to mark that AS, answering service. That was fast enough. We'll go to the next one. Call ended. Call ended. 419, 451. Yeah, it's right there. It's not going through. Well, it's a good sign so far. Let's go to the next one.
It's Larry.
All right, Larry answered. Sorry, Larry. I'm going to get so many people calling me back.
Can I help you?
Okay, another answer on the first ring, both of them. So I'm going, let me count how many of these there are. So we've got 57. I could probably call all these.
Hey, this is Donnie with Cincinnati Dumpsters. Sorry, man.
It's got to be the least exciting thing you watched today.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
That's a no. I don't know if I'm going to call all these. So let me call more. I want to get a good, like a baseline. And then I want to go straight to Madison. I want to see how companies are faring in Madison, Wisconsin. Okay. Stopped ringing. I'm going to call that a no. Oh, I'm going to show you something here in a minute you're going to like. All right. Stick with me here. It's going to get a lot better.
Queen City Dumpster.
All right. He answered. I'm going to finish Cincinnati, and then I'm going to text some of these guys.
Thank you for calling Dumpster Rental Solutions, the #1 dumpster rental provider in the Cincinnati area.
I hope someone out there is already doing this research in their own area because you're that excited. That's what I'd be doing.
Hello, and thank you for calling for.
Now, okay, and answering, not like, I mean, they suck, but it's not as good as answering right away.
Thank you for choosing Morning Caller. Nick speaking.
That's a yes. All right, now all of these are the same company, so let's see what they do. It's got to be an answering service, right? If it was my company and I had all those locations, I would not have an answering service. There are ways to get around. It's an 800 number. I mean, yeah, it's not even ringing, so that's not a good sign. All right, now this last one does not have a phone number at all. Dumpster tub. I just want to do a little research. There it is. Huh. They've got products, like they went through the effort of putting this here, but they don't have their freaking phone number. What are you guys doing? Huh. So we're going to call that a no. We're going to count any Madison. I'm actually going to talk to these ones. Oh, this is a recycling center. I just realized I can't see my screen. Okay, so that is recycling center. I'm going to share my screen again so you can see that. So this is actually very interesting because if we do get more granular, then we learned that one of the 4 dumpster rental companies in Madison is not a recycling center. So we're going to go back to the research. We're going to go here to Madison. We're going to change that to 3 and look at those numbers pop. And so literally Cincinnati, Ohio is 5 times more saturated exactly than Madison, Wisconsin. So I guess it's good that I called all of the ones in Cincinnati because we're on both ends of the spectrum here. So we only have 3 in Cincinnati. Let's give them a call. Kearns Dumpsters. So since there's only 3, let's do a little more research. Yep, I don't even need to click. That's dumpster rental. Tread Lightly Dumpsters. Rental. This looks like it could be a lead generation site. They just had like a Madison Google page. I mean, look at this. Lakeland, Florida, San Bernardino. Contact us. Okay, this gets that's grown using programmatic SEO, which is, here's a secret. This is what we do as well. We use programmatic SEO for the same type of stuff. If you ever want to do programmatic SEO, email me, by the way, chris@cofounders.com. I can help you out with that. This is very interesting. These guys are just selling leads, junk removal and dumpster rental. Very, very smart. Yep. Completely different landing page. Jeez Louise. Okay. So Madison, like the more research we do, the better it gets. Now, of course, we could go to the other cities and do more research, and we're going to find similar things that would bring the numbers down. But now we've got 2. So we've got Kearns, Tread Lightly. That's it. Let's look at. All right. I want to see how many locations these guys have. Like this website. It's ugly, but it's clean. It's clear. Look at that picture. Man, that picture is like a boomer's dream. Okay, so these guys look like they're using like a template. I've seen this template before. So they're probably a little more sophisticated. They're not even like in Madison. Let's see if we can do this. We're going to try to book. Actually tied to their inventory. You know what? We're just going to call these 2. I don't think this is going to be tied to their inventory. All right, I'm going to YouTube real quick. I'm going to take a breather. What am I learning from the company calls? Validating if the business is real. Great question. I want to know how good they are at customer service. We have a small business. Our tree trimming business is a small business. And James, my operating partner, he always answers the phone. He just answers it. If he's talking to a customer quoting a job, like, oh, can you just give me a second? He just answers his phone because the chance of getting a job, like he knows, just from a call that comes in cold is like 30%. And if he gets there in person to quote it face to face, it's like 70%, right? And so let's say the average job is $1,000. We have a 30% chance of closing it. That means that if he misses that call, he loses $300, right? And if our margins are 50%, he loses $150. We lose $150 in net profit. And so answering the phone is the most simple yet most important thing you can do. So that's what I want to know. And answering service, that's friction. That's, oh, it's a big company. Oh, they don't care about me. They're probably busy. Friction. And then surprisingly, quite a few of those just were bad numbers altogether. Using this example, curious if you recommend trying to buy an existing business instead of starting one. Based on everything I'm learning, I would not. I would start a business in Madison, Wisconsin. So, all right. I want to call these 2 businesses because we're down to 2 now. And I want to ask them if they have availability to rent 3 dumpsters this weekend. Okay. Why 3? Because that will give me a better idea of how busy they are. If yes, and it's okay, this is like prime construction season in Madison, Wisconsin, I'm sure. 3 dumpsters is quite a bit. This weekend is, 4 days away. So if they say no, then it's like, that tells me that they're somewhat busy. And they'll also probably tell me I can rent 1, not 2. So that gives me an idea of exactly how busy they are. Like, I'm expecting them to say no because it's short notice. So that doesn't tell me a lot. I would prefer if they say yes, they do have availability to rent 3 dumpsters this weekend, because that's going to tell me that they're not very busy. And that's going to be a red flag that conflicts with almost everything I'm learning about the dumpster rental business in Madison, Wisconsin. So I'm going to call both of them, and I'm going to keep sharing my screen.
Thank you for calling Tread Lightly Services.
Is anyone surprised? Is anyone surprised? It went to voicemail. Guy's busy. That's my assumption. Let's call the next one. And then I'm going to do a little more research before we text any of these guys. So that was Tread Lightly. Now we're going to go to Kearns. This is so exciting. I'm like a kid in a candy store right now. All right. I'm calling Kearns. And I like pulling up their website as I talk to them just so I sound like less of an idiot.
Hello, this is Kearns Dumpsters. How may I help you?
Hey, I was wondering if you have availability for 3 15-yard rentals this weekend.
When were you thinking of getting those dropped off?
It's flexible, maybe Saturday morning or Friday afternoon.
Friday. We could do Friday. We could drop them off Friday. We have 12 yards, 20 yards, and 30 yards. I don't see it being a problem on Friday. Is that okay?
That might be okay. I'm just kind of doing research right now. Are you pretty busy this weekend?
We don't deliver on weekends.
Oh, okay. Are you pretty busy this week?
No, Friday's open. That's Friday, Thursday, and tomorrow, sort of.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to call around right now, but I will give you a call back if I decide to go that direction.
All right. Have a great day, sir.
Thank you. All right. So that was kind of interesting. Not as busy as I would have thought. Now look at their website compared to Tread Lightly. Tread Lightly, you can book online. That's like obvious. You don't have to build out a custom website. There's probably a theme or a package you could buy for a couple $100. Here, you can't. You got to call them. It's friction. So we're going to look them up on Google Earth. All right. Okay. Ooh. So it looks like I wonder if this Terra Engineering business is owned by the same person. A lot of times these dumpster rental companies start out as construction businesses, and then they, buy some dumpsters, and then they start, loaning them out to other people in the industry, and next thing they know, they're in business. So I'm not learning a lot here other than it looks like he might just be piggybacking on another business. A bunch of dumpsters lined up, but that's just like a trash pile. And then look at Countrywide, this lead gen factory. We could learn something from these guys. I bet you anything. Okay, what is this address? They're not fitting many dumpsters in there. I wonder how they got the hookup to validate their address on Google Maps. There's all kind of tricks of the trade. So that's interesting. 32 reviews. Just reading these reviews here. Do you see any typos? Do you see any, look at these names. Michaela Wynn, Hershey Abon, Ashley Williams. I accessed the website. This is all AI written. Literally not any human on this planet has ever said, I went and accessed your website. I bet you anything, they have a standard review and then they tell ChatGPT, write this 15 different ways, and they just swap out synonyms. It ends up making no sense. So these are all fake reviews, and the automation automates them with AI. Very interesting. Very, very. We're doing, I will admit, we're doing something similar, not with dumpster, not anything near dumpster rental, but a lead gen service with programmatic SEO. And we're seeing some really, really good results from it. So no shade, but it's just interesting seeing this for what it is. Okay. So we've learned a lot, especially about Madison, Wisconsin. And I am going to remove the ones with blank phone numbers. I'm going to take this and let's close that. And I'm going to open a new sheet. And I'm going to remove duplicates. Okay, so I just want their phone numbers here. And I'm going to scrub these if they're cell or landline. So I'm going to save this as a CSV. Doesn't matter what I save it as. And then I'm going to go to this website over here, Sly Broadcast, and they are happy to validate these lists and tell me if it is a, what's it called? If they're cell or landline. So I'm going to upload this list. All I have in it are the phone numbers. Save, spits it out. Okay. Let's go ahead and add a header. I don't care about the landlines right now. I don't care about the unknowns. I only want the cell phone numbers. So I do want to remove the one I just talked to because I just talked to him and I know what's going on there. So that was Kearns, I believe, right? 2565. Yes. All right. So I'm going to remove that. Well, I guess he wasn't in there because that wasn't a cell phone. So save that list. Now I'm going to go to message media. And I use quite a few different texting platforms, but this is the one that I like for this type of outbound texting the most. So this is our co-founder's account, and we have a few different phone numbers. And I'm going to go to contacts, list, and create a list. And then I'm going to upload that list into that specific list. I only need their phone numbers. So once again, this doesn't give us data from people that are using, what's it called? Landlines or unknown phone numbers. It just gives us data from people that have cell phone numbers, but it's really quick and easy. So I'm going to use this list, only 27 numbers, and I'm going to say, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. I don't need a personalization in here. It's a very binary question. I'll do this. And I'm going to click send. And it's not a big sample size, but it's something. And now we wait. So while we wait for responses, I'm going to go back here. No questions. No questions? Anyone got any questions? All right. Well, let's clean up these tabs. And let's see if we have any responses. We got one. I wish we had like 200 because we would get like a 10 to 30% response rate right away. Okay. Something. How would you go to market if you decide to launch a dumpster rental? Well, that's a whole other live stream in and of itself. We can do that. I'm down. Let's see. We're not getting more responses. I'm surprised. I kind of want to text more. Let's see. What could I do to text more? Okay. All right. Call me. I don't like that. If I'm texting you, I want you to respond via text. What material? Fully booked. Okay, that's something. 8826. I want to see where he's at. Grand Rapids. Okay. Five, 865. Where's this guy at? Hooven, Ohio. Oh, that's not right. Cincinnati. That looks familiar. Okay, these guys are pretty busy. 8091. Fort Wayne. Yeah. Fort Wayne is a good market. We're not surprised that they're busy. We already knew that. Can you book online? Book online. Imagine that. All right. All right. Going back to the questions. Jot down the tools using for estimate. I will put all the tools in the, we're going to edit this YouTube video and then just post it as a non-live video next week probably. And I will put all the links to all this stuff in that. I went with these, Lewis, because I've been doing this for 15 years and trial and error. These are just what I've settled with. They work well. They might not look pretty, but they're better than the other options. Okay. My ADD is in full force right now. Where was I? All right, there we are. Let's see how many responses we got. 27 texts, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So 20 something % response rate right off the bat. Not bad. It's too bad we didn't text more people. I want to look more into this guy. 8091. Okay, look at it. Now this is legit. Blue Line Bins, all 5-star reviews, 82. We've got a big parking lot. I assume that most of these spots normally have dumpsters, but it's mostly empty. Now here's a little life hack. Obviously the Google Street View that you see will be different than the Google Earth view that you see. So you can get 2 different points in time. And then if you really want to get granular with it, oh, this is good. Okay, so it looks like they just do all kinds of stuff. You're going to like this, what I'm about to show you. This will be good. So it looks like it hasn't even been there for that long. This is May 2023. That was an auto credit place. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to take that address. We're not going to learn a lot from this because it hasn't been in business for that long, but you get the idea. So I need to be able to zoom in more. No, that's a bummer. I can't zoom in any more than that. So forget I said anything. That doesn't work, but I had the right idea. Let's go back to this. We don't have 20 yards and our 11 yards are currently being used. Okay, so I don't like this guy. Dude, like, come on. 770. So these guys are busy. I mean, imagine how much you can learn just from this, just seeing how busy everyone is. Demolition contractor. Just take it LLC.net. Oh, saying the phrase LLC.net gives me an aneurysm. That is painful. So I don't think you can book online, but yeah, whatever. It's a website. Okay, so what have we learned? Let's go back to the research tab. It looks like there needs to be this business in Madison and or Toledo and or Fort Wayne. We could do a lot more research in these cities because for all we know, Grand Rapids is a great place to open because maybe it looks saturated on the surface, but if you call everyone and really dig in and do your research, and you find out that they're all busy and there's room for more. Or if you find out in the northeast corner of the city, there's no one, right? But be careful with research because let's say you live in Grand Rapids, it's a great place, and you don't want to move, and you really want to start a dumpster rental business. Then you're going to have confirmation bias everywhere you look. You're like, well, you know, they're not too busy, but there's no one around the corner. Well, you know, don't try to talk yourself into doing this. Follow the data. Right? Be unbiased, follow the data, or else you'll get yourself in trouble. So what I like to do when doing this research, let's say you're not location agnostic and you want to go to a specific area, be willing to do 5 different businesses and do all this research. So it's only taken an hour to do this. Do all this research for all 5 businesses and it will scale, right? It won't take 5 hours to do it. It'll take 2.5 hours because you're studying the same cities. You're just swapping out the home service businesses. Don't get too attached to an industry or a city. Be flexible on both. But this is the 80-20 or 90-10 of finding out if specifically a home service business could be viable in any given area. You can get a lot more granular with it. You could text a lot more people. You could make pivot tables. You can make charts and graphs and yada, yada, yada. But you're not going to learn anything new than what we've already learned right here. So I will link to all this stuff in the YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed something. Hope you learned something. Yeah, let me see if there are any questions before we end this. If you're on, once again, if you're on Twitter or LinkedIn, you got to hop over to YouTube, type in the Kerner office. You'll see this live and hop in and ask a couple questions. I will stick around for a little bit to answer. What question would you ask to gauge demand if this was researching roofing instead of dumpsters? That's a good question. Roofing, in my opinion, is just like a home service business in and of itself because it is, you know, instead of being a $200 pressure washing job or a $2,000 tree job, it's a $20,000 job, which puts it in a whole other category. And that also means that, you know, roofing has attracted a lot of sophisticated operators because they feel, rightly so to a degree, that they could do the same amount of work to get a $20,000 job as they could get it to get a $2,000 job. And because the margins are also good in roofing, you have a lot of people spending a lot of money on marketing. You have a lot of agencies built up around roofing to compete there. And so it is hard to compete in roofing because there's a lot of people there for all of those reasons. Any other questions? Any questions before we wrap this up? I'm exhausted. If you haven't already, I would love for you to subscribe my newsletter. I talk about this stuff. There's no ads in the newsletter. There's no cost. I do it once a week. chrisjkerner.com, KOERNER. Thank you, Terrell. Appreciate that. I honestly just want people to quit their job. Like, if you love your job, then you're not watching this. So if you love your job, then don't quit your job. Jobs are great. But if you're watching this, you probably want to quit your job, or you probably already have a business, and I want you to grow your business or quit your job. That's my goal. Would love to see a sort of inverted version of this. What do you mean by that, Lewis? Where you have an area you want to be in and want to identify service businesses. That's a great idea. I love it. I love it. Any other questions? I'm back to the texting right now. I know I'm not sharing my screen, but one person said, "May I ask who this is?" The other person said yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 responses from 27. Sheesh. All right. That's like almost 40% response rate. Not bad at all. Thank you, Hero. Good to see you in here. Okay. Well, I think I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you guys for joining. It's been an hour and 18 minutes or so. Appreciate you all. And I hope you learned something. And if you ever have any questions, just email me, chris@cofounders.com, and I'll do my best to help you with the time that I have. Have a great day.